All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about bad news and good news at the same time. Major injuries have taken place in the welterweight and the super welterweight division, which may force Terence Crawford to fight one of the best fights that we could ask for next year in Jaron Boots Ennis. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division the day after Christmas, heading into 2023, where it looks like, the stars could be aligning towards us getting a mega fight, a great fight that could definitely put one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter in the world, firmly atop the inside of the all-time great category, and that is Terence Bud Crawford. Before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, like my man Zenith 360 and also my man Rick Timms, thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Also, thank you for everybody that is supported in the super chats and the cash apps, in the live streams that we do, and also the super thanks and videos that we do, like this one with the heart and the dollar sign, which is how you can support YouTube content creators on videos like this, besides hitting that like button. So and sharing the video. But let's get into this. All right. Like I said, I dedicated this video to the subscriber Rick Timms, who's always saying, let's keep a positive mindset about Errol Spence Jr. fighting Terence Crawford. There was a lot of stuff that took place last year, made some people unhappy, but look towards the bright side and look towards the future. Love that outlook, and that is the outlook that I'm taking when I'm talking about the most recent news that is taking place over the last couple weeks, which is that, unfortunately, Errol Spence Jr. looks like he may very well be out and unavailable for the first 6 months of this year. And then you also have JERMELL Charlo, who was to fight on January 28th, who's now broken his hand, and it seems as if he is going to be out for the first half of the year. But not only are they both out for the first half of the year, they also have mandatory title defenses waiting on them when they get back. So in the case of Errol Spence Jr., Errol Spence Jr. has a mandatory fight coming up against Keith Thurman for the WBC, to defend his WBC title. The WBC had levied that mandatory on him once he was very clear that Errol was not going to fight Terence Crawford. Same thing happened with the WBA, and same thing is going to more than likely happen with the IBF when at the conclusion of the fight between Jaron Ennis and Kareem, first name Kareem, that will be taking place in just a week. Actually, just 2 weeks, right? The weekend after next in DC on the undercard of Gervonta Davis. So those guys are pretty much booked up until the end of next year. Errol Spence Jr. is probably booked up until 2024. So like Rick Tim said, let's look at it in a positive fashion. The positive of this is that frees up Terence Crawford to fight Jaron Ennis. And that is an absolute wonderful opportunity for him to get his, to fight somebody to shut a lot of boxing fans up. Because if he is able to beat Jaron Ennis, that would be, in my opinion, the best win of Terence Crawford's career. So doing that, I think it would answer a lot of questions about whether he would be scared of Errol Spence Jr. and why he fights lower level competition on a consistent basis, right? That guy right there, because he is saying that he wants to fight and he's willing to go over to BLK Prime or whatever network that fight winds up on. Jaron Ennis is willing to go there, right? And it's a perfect situation again, because like I said, Terence Crawford doesn't have anybody to fight of note next year. There is no Errol Spence Jr. more than likely, because Errol Spence more than likely has back-to-back mandatories. Now, somebody, again, I'm sure in the comment section are going to say this, unifications trump mandatories. Yes, they do. Unifications do trump mandatory as a rule of thumb. The only problem with that one is that they tried to do a unification with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence for half of last year, and it held up all of the mandatories. And since that fight fell through, they're going to enforce the mandatories and say, hey, look, after you get rid of these mandatories, you can go back to trying to make a unification fight. But unification, we allowed for the unification negotiation to trump the mandatories, and it didn't go through. So, there's a lot less chance that they are going to bypass that, as well as a lot less chance that the mandatories, the people in the position of mandatories, are not going to push for it and push for it and push for it. You know what I mean? So, and obviously that's the case with JERMELL Charlo as well, because JERMELL Charlo literally already had the fight scheduled. Also, Errol Spence Jr., they didn't announce it, but every bit of evidence that's out there points to that they have already agreed to a fight with Keith Thurman for that WBC mandatory, because it was a major promoter over that deals with the PBC and TGB and Tom Brown Promotions that petitioned the WBA to allow the WBC mandatory to go first, right? And that's not done accidentally, right? And with that petition, Errol Spence Jr. had said that he was ready to announce who he was going to fight. And that came right after the WBC had mandated the fight. So those are out of the water, out of the woods. And this is a golden opportunity for Terence Crawford to fight somebody that is almost universally recognized as at the very least the third best welterweight that there is. It also, and I've said this in other videos and I will repeat this, it also has the side benefit of helping boxing get to the Errol Terence Crawford fight faster if Terence Crawford fights and eliminates the mandatory, one of the IBF mandatories that Errol Spence Jr. has. And it's also just kind of like fair dealing, because Errol has gotten rid of, if Terence Crawford's goal is to be undisputed, well, Errol Spence Jr. got a lot of people out of the way for him to be able to fight for undisputed as well. He got Kell Brook out of the way. Well, he got the IBF champion out of the way, the WBC champion out of the way, and the WBA champion out of the way, so that all Terence have to do is fight him to get undisputed. Hey, man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Terence can do the same thing with one of those mandatories which would allow Errol to be able to fight him all the quicker, and a golden opportunity for all the boxing fans out there. So anyway, that's my take, saying, hey man, since Terence says that he wanted JERMELL and Errol, but neither one of those guys are going to be available this year more than likely, hey man, you can still get some work done and we can get closer to the fight we want to see. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.